So, there are some potential spoilers in today's episode if you are not caught up on the comic books.
I've read Destro and Scarlet #1, and I think Transformers #10. Is there anything more recent than that?
Scarlet #2 just came out, but the spoilers are not involved with that one. All right, where do we leave off?
I think we'd wrapped up on the island, right? So we were back at base. We were between missions.
Yes, that's what I was hoping I was remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think we had went back and regrouped with Beachhead and was like, in our downtime, I thought that's where we was at.
A world where ruthless terrorist organization is determined to rule the Earth.
Cobra! Attack!
A world where sometimes machines are more than meets the eye. A world where heroes are determined to stop the forces of evil, whether it be man, snake, machine, or something else. A world that needs heroes.
Yo, Joe!
A world that needs the Energon protocols.
So, we're going to pick up 3 days after you're done with the island. So you've gotten home, you've done your full debriefing, and you've actually gotten a full 24 hours of rack time, if you want it.
A full 24 hours of scotch, you say?
Yes.
We saw some very weird stuff, and that's coming from me.
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine if there's a bar on this base, we're there, and if there's not, we're making one right now.
Oh, yeah. Beachhead, in what he calls his office, which is mostly a desk that is in a storage garage. He has one of those giant, old-fashioned, bronze-colored globes that open up, and there's a wet bar in it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. We are totally, completely raiding the hell out of that right now.
Yeah, you don't have to rate. The night you get back, as you are talking about your debriefing, he gets you all thoroughly drunk.
I take back everything I ever said about him.
We probably stay that way for the next 24 hours.
Yeah, and he's good with that, because technically you don't exist, and you can take whatever missions he opts that are important, and he just will choose not to have anything be important for, like, your hangovers are over.
Highly appreciated.
But you do get the call. We'll say it's Saturday morning at like 5 a.m. and he walks into the barracks and pulls the air horn trick, even though probably most of you are in the process of waking up anyway, because it's 5 a.m. He says, "Up and Adam troopers, I need you in my office in 15 minutes. And then without a word nor looking at anyone, he just turns around and walks out and lets the metal door slam, just in case the air horn wasn't enough.
Quickly get dressed and head to his office.
Yep.
Likewise.
Like it's time to get moving. I take a little bit of time to get my gear sorted because knowing this sort of situation, chances are we'll probably be heading out on a plane in the next 20 minutes.
Well, I figured when he said show up in my office, it meant ready to deploy.
I agree with your assessment.
Yep.
Well, when you get to the office, Brick and Hexblade are already there. They have taken the good spots in between, like the filing cabinets and on the little side table that sometimes people sit at to fill out reports.
I am sitting as far away from Hexblade as possible and not making any eye contact.
Yeah, he's used to that. He doesn't take a lot of offense to it anymore. He's doing the mysterious magician thing where he's like rolling the coins on the top of his fingers. He's doing 2 at once, not just 1. And somehow they're not interfering with each other. So that's a thing.
For 2 reasons, I sit as far away from him as possible and not make eye contact with him.
All right.
His little hand magic stuff would be the second.
Yeah. All right, well, I got to ask now, what's first?
Oh, that he's a wizard to start with, and that stuff you just don't mess with.
Yeah, he enjoys your assessment. Beachhead is sitting at his desk. There is not a surface on his desk that's big enough to put a piece of paper down to write on. He still has his feet up, and once his feet are up and he's kind of leaning back, you almost lose sight of him over this many stacks of paperwork and folders and manila envelopes and all of the crap. But he manages to keep the eyesight with most of you. He's like, "Well, gentlemen, I think our time here is almost done." Luke has pushed through his little pet project. General Hawk and Admiral Keelhaul are starting the recruitment process for this special organization. were invoked to investigate and check the feasibility of. And for some unfathomable reason, they're calling it GI Joe. I've seen some paperwork that not a lot of people have access to. There's something fishy going on. It looks like, if you pay attention to the paperwork, he kind of shoots a side glance up at Brick, and who just kind of nods and doesn't say anything because he's listening to the briefing. It looks like they're putting together two different teams. Duke's team doesn't know about the other team. I have some concerns about this. Maybe it's for legit reasons. We haven't been tapped yet to blend in with either one of these teams. And I feel some loyalty to the purity of our cause. So I'm going to try to keep us out of this mess until it resolves itself or comes to a boiling point and the whole project implodes. So I'm going to send some supplies to the Mega Marines on Skull Island just in case we need to abandon this base. I don't suspect treason or foul play. I don't expect Hawk's secret team to come in here guns blazing. We will eventually be incorporated into one or both of these teams. But I don't like the way the politics are looking, so I'm just going to try and keep us out of it for the foreseeable future. Does anyone have an issue with this?
Nope.
None whatsoever. The longer we stay off the books, the more freedom we have.
Exactly. This kind of freedom is a little addicting.
I don't like politics. I like shooting things.
Same here.
Politics are for people in suits.
To that end, one of the things that got Duke started on this long meandering journey of his was he encountered something.
Farmers, more than meets the eye.
In the official reports, it's something.
More than meets the eye.
But we know it was one of the bad Transformers.
The evil forces of the Decepticons.
And we're already on to them. We submitted several reports to the Pentagon. They are pleased with our progress on that front. But towards the end of his adventure, after he was arrested for treason and then subsequently cleared, another reason to stay well away from him, he encountered a smaller robot that didn't really transform into anything. The Pentagon is worried that this smaller robot, which is about human-sized, could be used as some sort of shock troop and a bulk army guy for certain terrorist organizations that are starting to pop up on our radar. And the only information we have on these is Duke's report, which he throws down on the table. And if you're not looking right at it, it's quickly lost in the mounds of other reports in manila folders. So anybody can grab it and look at it. It's essentially a recount of Duke's fight with the Bat in issue 5 of the Duke series.
I'm going to take a quick look at it and commit it to memory.
Once he's done, I'll take a look at it also.
Yep, I'll take a look as well.
Sorry, commit it to electronic memory, not my actual memory.
And he pauses to give everyone a chance to read it. Hexblade also reads it. Brick passes. Once everyone's satisfied, he asks if there are any questions on the report. He says, the Pentagon wants one. We need to study more than the couple of pieces that Duke brought out of that hole with him. There have been rumors and some speculation about where these things are, and we have 3 possible choices. There is a town in Nebraska. Well, some sort of incorporated mining facility that's going to be a town someday. Pretty sure there's some off-the-books things happening there. We're keeping the place monitored, or another group is. But there's been some unconfirmed sightings of these bats, I guess they're calling them, somewhere around there. Those reports are unconfirmed. We have confirmed reports of an army of them, 20 to 50. Were involved in a small Eastern Bloc civil war in Darklona. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they may be still being used as shock troopers to maintain security for the new regime.
Well, that sounds lovely.
When they say they want one, how working does it have to be?
The more working, the better, but something we can reverse engineer is acceptable.
So intact, not necessarily operational.
Well, if you can't get one intact, bring back as many pieces as you can.
Copy that.
And Duke took this out by himself?
Yes, although we have reports and some evidence that they've received some sort of power upgrade between Duke's encounter with one, which may have been a prototype, and the shock troops used in the Civil War.
Energon.
No one's saying that, but yes. So I'll leave it up to you where you want to go. There's the unconfirmed reports of a small place in the United States that may or may not have one. Or you can go to the recently Civil War hostile regime taking over Eastern Bloc country away from all civilization and in the midst of Mars industries and extensive enterprises where there are probably some, but that's much more dangerous.
If I were a betting man, I would say that there was a secret entrance off of a basement somewhere in Nebraska that led to a lair full of the damn things. Of course, I might be biased based on my own personal experiences. Anyone have any thoughts on this?
I don't know about that specifically, but I'd definitely rather investigate a domestic lead before committing some kind of treaty breaking act.
It's been like, what, a whole 2 weeks since we've committed a war crime?
Been a slow 2 weeks. Yeah, part of me wants to go directly to the action and take it out where we know there's going to be one, but yeah, and I've got to side with the fellows that wants to say stateside right now. I think maybe our best bet.
And in this one instance, the politicians are earning a paycheck because, given the fact that Darklonia is in the midst or the end of a regime-changing civil war, they have no official status with the UN, the European Union, or any other governmental body. So going there does not violate any treaties, so we technically don't have any with them yet.
Okay.
Not a war crime if it never gets written down.
Also that. But that doesn't have to influence your decision. I'm just putting it out there. On the off chance you get caught, you just have to worry about regular torture and not war crimes.
Well, what's the problem if we make a big mess here stateside if things go sideways?
Well, that's never ideal. U.S. military in any branch is not allowed to operate on U.S. soil without direct orders from the president. So engaging in operations is bad. If you get captured and trotted out in front of like TV cameras, we'll have to disavow your existence. But we were never really organized as a official group anyway. So we've got that going for us.
So with that being said,
There are good things and bad things for each one. I can't decide. I don't know how much punishment you guys feel like, so I leave it up to you.
I think we'll probably end up in both places at some point, but I believe that scaffold's prudence would be the way that I would lean, and that getting one and more information on it would be preferable, even if we are planning on taking on 50 in the very near future.
Agreed.
for
All
whatever.
right. So gear up, wheels up in an hour, and you're heading for Nebraska.
I hand a $10 bill to Reaper and said, I could have swore it was going to be 20 minutes.
And as we're walking down, I'm going, we get a whole hour. It's like a vacation.
Brick walks out with you and goes back to the kind of the warehouse space where you have been meeting to do a requisition phase.
I think I'm just going to stick with what I've been carrying. So no need to change anything up, I don't think. We're still level 5, correct?
Yeah, I probably should have given you a level, but I forgot. You'll definitely get one at the end of this session.
Okay.
Okay. Reaper is sticking with his standard loadout or standard modified loadout
Mm-hmm.
with all his free picks and free upgrades. Does anyone else need requisition stuff?
I will, but I need to look it up first, so go to everyone before me.
Give me just a minute to take a look real quick. And I think I will do a requisition phase. Got my standard loadouts. In addition, I will take a power suit Epsilon. It's on page 155. I get that as a free action or as a non-requisition or whatever.
Okay.
My requisitions, I will take 146, the heavy machine gun, which is restricted.
Okay. Anything else?
And I'm going to take a health pack and a rocket launcher.
Oh, I meant, were you going to modify the heavy machine gun at all?
No.
Okay. So restricted's a 15.
Got a 15 and a 5, so 20.
Good there.
And then let's have a machine gun. A health pack is a standard, is that correct?
Yes.
And then I will take a rocket launcher, which is on
Jeez.
page 144. What I have down here, yeah, rocket launcher, that's restricted also. And that gives me a 16. Barely. And that should do it for me.
Is enough? Scaffold?
So I'm going to stick to Scaffold's, what he took last time, which was Impulse Armor, which he is qualified with the Silent Upgrade, Close Combat Bludgeon with Galvanized Upgrade. So that's going to take a skill test. And Fire Jet with Ammo Belt, I'm qualified for, and a pistol.
What's the skill test?
Skill test, I can use technology for my attacks, so I'm going to be rolling technology, and I got a 14, which I believe my diff was 10. Let me double check that.
Standard is a 10?
No, standard's 0.
Oh.
Galvanized is not standard. Galvanized, I believe, is restricted.
Okay. That's 15. It's on page 138.
Yeah, I'm just confirming galvanized is restricted. Oh, it's limited, so I only needed a 10.
Okay, good. All right. That's everybody but classified.
I'm going to get a pistol and try to add silencer and electromagnetic to it.
Good.
And I'd also like to roll for an electromagnetic grenade too, if I can get them.
Pretty much just have to make the one roll because you get 2 grenades. We'll be fine.
I'm just trying to do the math to figure out what I need to roll for that.
I'm trying to find electromagnetic.
They're a restricted, I think.
I can't find them at all. I know that it's there. Oh, maybe it's just under element.
Yeah, I think it's an elemental grenade. Element grenade has EMP bomb, nitrogen grenade, thermite grenade. It's on page 144 of the core rulebook.
Oh, I thought it was a mod. It's actually its own thing.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
All right, excellent. So I'm rolling restricted.
No, that's limited. Sorry, it's limited.
Oh, I'm rolling limited.
Yep.
There's a 10.
Okay. And for grenades, what's the skill for that?
Targeting.
Okay. Rolling with a snag, but I still got it. 13.
Good.
And the pistol with the silencer and the element capability.
Silencer is standard. That doesn't raise it up. And the pistol is your loadout, which is also standard. Little elemental stank on it is. It seems to be limited. Let's just do limited.
Okay. So actually, I don't know roll with a snag. I had my robot up. I roll with a D4, and I have a specialization in element weapons. So can I use that?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, and that's a 16.
Okay.
Shiny new robot shooty gun.
Alrighty.
And while we were doing this, I leveled up my guy to 5. So just so everyone knows, you have my shield now. It goes 10 foot around me, which if you're within my shield, you get a bonus.
Nice.
It's a +4 to either your
Wow.
toughness or innovation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're aware.
So everybody group up on Hardman. We're going to go in shield wall style. He is the shield wall.
Okay.
Nickname change, codename change in the middle of the game, shield wall.
That's what I do.
All right. So, exact takeoff time will be determined by if you guys want to scout out in some daylight hours or do you want to go in completely undercover in the middle of the night?
Undercover in the middle of the night sounds like our brand. Thoughts, everyone?
We got drones that can see in the dark.
My only thought is if we go in daytime incognito, we could scout around, get some lay of the land, and figure things out so we know what we're blasting into, is my only thought.
I look him up and down, carrying like weapons larger than the average, car, and go, you willing to leave all that at home while we do a look around?
Just a thought.
If we go at night, can we get night vision goggles?
That's not something we can requisition. It has to be assigned to us, but I guess we can ask nicely.
I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing. If we're going at night, can we have, the things that make us see at night?
Yeah. Rick's already getting out the small cases of the night vision goggles, if you so choose.
Yes. I don't have a drone to see for me.
Okay.
Mine's integrated into the drone as is scaffold, so we're probably in good shape to do this.
Yeah, see, I figured as much, but, if one of you guys get shot, I kind of need to be able to see you to fix you.
That helps.
Your diligence is appreciated.
It's true. So you want to check page 162 for the night vision goggles for the specific rules.
Hardman,
I'm fine going at night.
you want goggles?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. Scaffold so nicely gave us the page number for the night vision goggles. You should probably read that. on page 162.
Gives you some limitations.
Yup. Some good ones, too. And by good, I mean horrible.
Yep.
Okay. Ooh.
All right. What time do you want to arrive? Or what time do you want to get to the town?
11 p.m. Sound good to everyone? Get it nice and dark. Get everyone, all the kiddies off to bed.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. So the plane lands at a unused kind of military training exercise yard, 10 or 15 miles away from the town, for lack of a better word. You're allowed to requisition a vehicle. It can be like an Ostriker or a Vamp. I mean, you can go in fully armored, or you can get like an Escalade or something big enough to carry the four of you and your gear kind of in the back. Just depends on how blendy.
We need a Denali with this crew.
Denali's are not available, but you have access to, Secret Agent, the giant SUV, black.
Can we get an 18-wheeler with Amazon written on the side?
Yeah, no one will
Yo, Joe.
could suspect us of anything.
Wait, can anyone drive that?
If you really want one can be prepared by the time you land.
I have no driving skill.
I've got a
I
little
have driving skill, but I get a downshift for non-air vehicle. Still gives me a D4, and so as long as we're not driving into combat, I can handle it.
I say we go in incognito. Like, there's no reason to go rolling in and, like, first off, a Vamp's not going to hold all of us. Like, there's no reason for us to go rolling in military equipment, blazing and blasting and flashing everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we're going to try to get in, get out, and do this somewhat
Yo, Joe.
quietly.
All right, so a UPS truck it is. Or FedEx, whatever is easier to paint.
Honestly, a box truck like that would be perfect.
Yeah, and the brown uniforms work good as, a little bit of mud in their camo. So UPS, if we can do it.
Unlike Amazon, people don't get as excited when UPS rolls up.
Yeah, there you go.
It means somebody sent you a form. Maybe your new passport's here.
So you get a modified UPS kind of brown truck. It looks like there would be ample shelving and storage in the back, but there's secretly like 5 seats and a small safe to store things. They're like combat seats in like an airplane, or like what would be in the back of an APC.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not the most comfortable ride ever, but it looks exactly like a UPS truck from the outside. So you're good.
Good job, Brick. You nailed this one.
Is my job.
All right. So where's this location that we need to get to?
It is in the middle of effing nowhere, Nebraska. It's kind of in the middle of a played out oil field that was bought up by some developer who sold it to some other developer, and they're still trying to backtrack all of the shell corporations and mysterious enigmatic organizations. But somebody wanted to start a town. We have no idea why. We don't really care yet.
To be on brand as well.
Well, I can say for one, effing nowhere seems like a lovely place to go start a shitstorm.
Yeah, middle of downtown Chicago, I'd probably have a few more reservations.
So you get to the airstrip. It's not even a base anymore. At 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night, the GPS is already pre-programmed with the location of the town. I keep referring to it as the town because no one knows what the name of this place is yet. They haven't incorporated a name or city council. So estimated population is about 50, and there's, like I said, they're still backtracking all the incorporated paperwork, and that's the only intel that they have. Up until this point, it hasn't really been important enough to worry about, other than the weird paper trail. But no one has laid eyes on this place in any sort of military authority.
Sounds like my kind of town.
And the road leading in is a real road. County Road 67 runs east to west almost through the entire state. And of course, just for the drama, you go up one of the only hills in Nebraska, and as you crest the hill, which is, pretty much a hill in name only, it's only about 40 feet high, you see the town, which looks like it has about 8 intact buildings at the moment. They are like starting at the corner of Main Street and First Avenue, and they are kind of expanding out from the middle of town. There's construction, think of it as a 4-quadrant circle or maybe a dartboard for the targeting motif in the southeastern quadrant. Right next to Main Street and First Street is like a town square or a village park. It's got the gazebo, it's got the water feature, it's got room enough for a baseball field and a sign that says baseball field is coming. Southwestern quadrant is post office. Northwestern quadrant is a bar. Northeastern quadrant is a boutique and a nail salon.
We're already getting the nail salon installed early.
Yeah, to attract the ladies.
Gotta keep those nails looking good, man.
And there appears to be absolutely no one present. Outside of town, if you can call it that, I'm using the air quotes, which is only maybe a block. And a block is maybe 100 yards square here, but maybe a half mile outside of town to the north is like a neighborhood. There looks to be a dozen maybe cookie cutter ranch dwellings, and kind of on the opposite side of the road, because Main Street is that county road that you've been driving on this whole time. And outside of town, it becomes the county road again. But just before it becomes the county road, you have the cookie cutter neighborhood to the left and the beginning of a gated community to the right.
Beginning of a gated community. Are there houses?
There are a few. There's like 3 built and 3 under construction, whereas the kind of normal neighborhood has space for 12 or 14 houses, 8 or 9 of which are fully constructed, and the rest are in various states of being built.
You said that this appears to be on land that was formerly an oil field or a covered oil field or something like that. So who do we have giving us support or information support on this? Bill Docker around, or?
No, he's on vacation. He has tickets to a Dodger game.
Huh. All right, well, maybe I will get Data Point to fish for this information. Is there any ground penetrating radar information about this area? Because it was obviously surveyed for oil.
Why don't you give me a technology roll?
Oh, I was waiting for that one. Computer's okay?
Before you roll, though, I am going to give you a downshift because it's very hard to find.
100%. Okay, so that gives me I rolled with Edge. That gives me a 19 with 2 crits.
Oh my. Okay.
Specifically, what I'm looking for is any space large enough to be turned into some sort of evil underground lair, because
Sure.
That's basically what I expect out of anything in small town America these days.
Okay. No, there is not.
I'm pleasantly surprised. Is there anything else of note in the review of that geological data?
Well, given that you got a crit, you can ask a question if you would like.
Can I hold off on that question and do a thorough review of the data later to maybe answer a question that comes up as we go?
Yes, that's fine. Why don't the rest of you give me an alertness check, please?
Can I use my drone? I'm picturing if I'm driving, I can pretend it is also a UPS employee.
Yes, that's fine.
Can I use a streetwise
No.
rival?
No.
No? Okay.
All right, my drone got 10, but I got an 11.
I got a 10.
Hardman got a 10.
Nice. Okay. Well, a 10 was all you needed. Are you driving into town?
Yes, I believe that was the plan.
Okay. So as you hit the city limit, there's a sign. It's not installed yet, but you can see the sign kind of leaning up against the 4x4 posts that will hold the sign within the next few days. And it's very fancy with the kind of the matte blue background and kind of in standout white letters. It says Springfield, a nice place to live. And there would be ominous music as we cut to a commercial break.
Bum, bum, bum.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Dun, 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 dun.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
And we're back. All right, what do you want to do?
We must find and infiltrate the evil underground lair.
Look like there is one.
Yeah, it's a pleasant town.
Let's see. Did you say any of these houses look like they were occupied? Were there lights on?
It's hard to see because it's on like the other side of town. You only saw it because you were kind of up above.
Okay.
But yeah, there were probably a couple of lights on.
But town itself looks dead. Like there's nothing going on here.
Correct.
Scaffold, do you want to send up your drone and see if you can find anything that would represent a pretty big source of energy, like a separate generator or something like that? Because if they're building robots in this town, they're going to need a pretty big power source in order to do it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can do that. I was also thinking we should look for like a foreman's office or something.
Also a very good idea.
All right, but we can do that by reading signs. The drone is better equipped to check for energy sources. Let me just double check how my enhanced sensors work. Enhanced sensors sight. Is this something that we could see, or are we looking for something?
So I suggested generators, but if you can detect energy sources, that's going to be a heck of a lot more useful.
I can't. I'm very good at looking at things.
That is a useful skill set right now. So if you're comfortable with doing so, we can brand WYSIWYG. No, not WYSIWYG. What is his name?
Get the Annie Tinny Annie.
Better need it than not have it than have it and not need it.
Yeah.
Brand him with a UPS logo, so if anyone sees it, they'll just think it's a drone delivery.
Exactly. So yeah, that's a 21 alertness for Bithy Annie Tinny Annie.
And you're looking for energy sources, you said?
Yeah, like a big, obvious
Generator, tanks, whole lot of like a big gas thing, one of those portable cubes that you would drop in place of a generator.
So you spend 5 or 6 minutes kind of milling about 100 feet or so in the air, whatever's good for your prime drone range, and looking around, and there aren't any. There are no major incoming power lines. There's no solar farms anywhere near here. There's not enough water. There's a small river about 3 miles away that has no visible dams or way to power this town. There appears to be no power coming into this town whatsoever. There are streetlights.
So Scaffold is an engineer. This is right up his alley. Can he theorize where he might find energy, where energy sources might be hidden? With all the factors we understand, what could be up here? Does that make sense?
Yes. And I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it. As I said before, there's nothing obvious. No wind farms, no solar farms, no dam electricity that would have to come in on some sort of industrial like power lines.
Okay. Could there be some kind of underwater river creating hydroelectricity?
Well, I point at basically the old oil heads that have gone decommissioned and ask Scaffold, how much oil's sitting in the bottom of a well after you pull everything out of it?
That's a good question. So am I making an engineering roll here?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to use Think on it, which is a technician ability that as a free action, grant myself an edge on one skill test. Oh, no, wait, sorry. I got another one. Anyway, I've got 2 different ways that I can give myself an edge on something. One of them is outside of combat, so I'm using that one.
Okay.
All right, so it's 23 with a crit.
Nice. There is probably enough, either just raw crude or shale, to break down in order to get enough power to power the town and maybe donate some energy back into the grid. But there's no plant. There's no place to take oil to do things to it to make it into energy.
Right.
There's no like natural gas generating thingy.
Guys, we suspect that these robots that Duke's team encounter, that Duke and his crews encounter, are being powered by Energon. What the hell's saying that this town's not powered by Energon as well?
This town could be powered by for a very long time with a very small amount of Energon.
Exactly, and go undetected off of the grid.
8.
So, can we detect Energon? Can you do that classified? You got a way to do that?
If I had that, well, frankly, I wouldn't be working for the Army anymore.
I don't know what they give you. So, how do we detect if this place is being ran on Energon? How do we tell?
Well, Energon is exceptionally stable unless it's deliberately made unstable.
I think we just did.
It can be stored in basically any size, from a little tiny cube the size of a dice to something about the size of a trailer. Doesn't give off any additional level of heat because it's completely physically stable.
Any kind of radiation?
Not that we've been able to detect unless there's, like I look at Scaffold and say, unless you've heard something I haven't, we don't know of a good way to detect it.
I only know, publicly available information. You're the one that has all the classified information classified.
Well, that's why I guess they call it that. There may be a way, but it is not one that I completely understand. Let's see. I mean, the easiest way to find Energon is to blow it up, but I don't think that's probably our first go-to.
No. Yeah.
So I think we're back to the point where if there is nothing above ground, then it has to be below ground.
Mm-hmm.
And despite the fact that there are no natural caves, it doesn't mean that they can't build any. So the first rule, I guess, is get underground as quickly as you can before anyone spots you.
Speaking of, Scaffold, why don't you give me a stealth check with a downshift because you're in the giant truck.
Well, so I normally have a D2 in infiltration, so with the downshift, I'm just rolling a straight D20, and that's a 5.
Nice. Okay. So, well, you guys are theorizing and comparing notes. There is a police car that travels through Main Street, pauses like in the middle of Main and First, like in the dead center of town, and then turns right towards you. Doesn't put his lights on, but he's definitely heading directly at you.
You don't have a package to deliver or an address to deliver to, so maybe this wasn't the greatest cover.
Oh, it's all what you make of it. Let me at him.
Okay.
So I'm going to get out of the car. I'm going to recommend that everybody lock and load just in case this goes south. Though try not to kill any police officers. They are the good guys here, we think. So, make that your last choice, but don't take it off the menu. I'm
I
going
swear to
them
God,
and
if
see what
that-
I can get. Go ahead.
Swear to God, if that car turns into a giant
Gijoe.
fucking robot, I'm blowing everything in this town up.
You check it to see what thing's on it. Cars are generally a lot safer than airplanes.
I don't trust any of them now. That's for Johnny 5. He was cool.
He was cool. Hope we see him again someday. I'm going to pop out. I'm not taking any weapons, but I do have data point kind of concealed on my body behind my brown outfit.
Okay.
And I'm going to walk right up to the police car.
And just to be clear, you do not have an actual UPS uniform on. It's just kind of brownish military gear.
It's a brown jumpsuit, which doesn't have the logo on it, but I mean, I wouldn't really be able to tell the difference between a brown jumpsuit and a UPS outfit.
Okay. All right. And he rolls right up, pulls his window down. He's 45, maybe a smidge overweight. He's a sheriff. He's not a township police officer. And he says, y'all okay?
Well, my friend, and I'm going in with deception.
Okay.
So I can make an attack on his social. Is that correct? So I'm going to do a deception, bluffing attack on his social to say, I'm really hoping that you can help me because we are really late for picking up that component from wherever the generator's supposed to be. And I don't know where it is, and there's no signs anywhere around here. What is going on?
Nice. Okay.
And roll that with, it's a D6 with an edge, as data point can give me an edge on that.
I am, due to circumstances you are not aware of, I am canceling the edge.
Excellent. Okay. That is better than a downshift. Sorry, I have to find a D6, because for some reason I don't have one here. That doesn't make any sense.
All the dice to be missed.
Ooh. Okay, and a D2. Okay, so that is an 18 and no crits. 18 and 3, a 21.
Okay. So he says, well, shoot, son, you're clearing the wrong town.
You're kidding me. Where am I?
It's Site B. It's like another 5 miles down yonder. And he points down the county road more, like past the 2 neighborhoods that you saw, kind of back out into the blackness.
I've been driving in the dark for hours. Just like it's been continuous. So, wait a minute. I don't say that necessarily. I've been driving in the dark I've been driving at the night. How long have I been driving in the dark? I will know this.
Probably 3 hours.
I've been driving in the dark for 3 hours, and all these towns are starting to look alike to me. Thank you, sir. I'm going to pop into the car and see whether I can get them before the last person's gone. I have no idea. Can you tell me why a energy plant would be wanting me to pick something up in the middle of the damn night?
Son, there's plenty of weird stuff going on around here. I try not to ask too many questions, if you know what I'm saying. It's safer that way. I make between you, me, and the mailbox. I make a nice little penny moonlighting as night security around here, and I get paid enough to not ask.
Sounds like a good gig. You going to be able to afford one of those houses? I kind of point at the gated community. By the end of it,
Goodness no, this whole place gives me the creeps. I'm moving back to Pennsylvania.
I'm with you. Mighty hot there right now, though. All right, sir. I'll tell you, I've been on the road for hours. Is there anywhere around here that I can get a cold drink of water?
No,
Uh,
unless
All
you,
right.
you know somebody. There might be a gas station at Site B. We're still talking with the Sunoco people around here, and Mabel's closed at 6. So yeah, you probably should have stocked up that Love's back up by the highway.
See, that's a coulda, woulda, shoulda, I tell you. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna pop up to the site B. It's dark. What am I looking for?
Oh, you'll notice it's almost a mirror of this town, but that's where all the executives live, I think.
Well, that doesn't fill me with a whole lot of hope. I was hoping to get in there and out of there, and I've never gone anywhere where executives have made things faster.
Amen, brother.
All right, well, throw him a shake, checking his arm for any weird tattoos or anything like that while shaking his hand.
Make an alertness check.
I will be very alert. That's an oh no, that is no, that is just an 11. Sorry.
Yeah, he has a tattoo, but the the sleeve of his shirt is not rolled up enough for you to see it.
Makes a whole lot of sense. Anything I can determine as far as color or the shape of the bottom?
It's red, and it starts off as like 2 points, but you can only see maybe like a half an inch on each side.
Do I potentially suspect that he is a billionaire with a submarine?
No, he does not strike you as the billionaire type.
Okay, because I've seen an image like that on a submarine that was supposed to be a billionaire thing. All right, long shot. I'm going to pop back into the truck and start heading towards Site B.
Don't we do some sort of investigative type check as you're driving through Springfield?
I got an 8 on alertness, so
Okay.
I'm sitting in the back and can't see.
Yo, Joe.
I'm going to use situational awareness, but with an edge from data point scanners,
Okay.
if that makes sense. If they would be effective at doing anything with that. And let's see what we got here. That is a mighty 14. Apparently, looking out the side of a flat panel van with no windows is not something that my drone is particularly useful to help with.
It is less than ideal.
Well, my drone got a 10, but I got an 18.
Nice. Okay. Hardman?
I'm sleeping. I got a 5.
5. Okay. So, scaffold, since you're driving, you have the best view. You're kind of struck about how half finished everything is. You pass Mabel's, which is along Main Street. On the outside, it looks done. Mabel's has a very nice sign made out of like wrought iron, and it's got some like backing lights in the back of it, so it makes Mabel's pop from the brick facade of the building. But inside, there's like a counter, an old-fashioned register, an area that looks like it goes back into the kitchen, but there's only like 3 tables, and there's room for probably 10. And there's nothing in the countertop that the cash register is on. Doesn't have anything in it. No pies, no merchandise, no cheap T-shirts, and all of the buildings that you can see inside of kind of strike you that way as only half done.
You're describing this to us, Scaffold?
Yeah, sure. I guess just going a little stir crazy in the front. So I'm like, guys, if you notice that everything is like half finished, and you know how Mabel's is known for its pies and cheap T-shirts. There's no pies or cheap T-shirts in that Mabel's over there. Look.
Taking that description into account, does this sound like any black site that I've ever been in?
No, there are a couple of black sites that are like faux small towns for like anti-terrorist operations. Those are pretty clearly the buildings are just there for practice because they're going to get blown up. These look like a genuine attempt to make it look like a town. Just once they got the outside done, they kind of forgot about it. That's the feel.
Facadesville.
You can see some evidence of some construction equipment kind of scattered around, so they're still working on it a little bit, but it feels like once they got the outside done, they just kind of moved on to other things.
And nothing breaks this pattern. There's nothing that has any sign that there might be people in that one.
The neighborhoods break the pattern.
Okay.
You can see badly mown lawns. You can see driveways with oil stains in them, the flickering lights of TVs being left on, a couple of porch lights. You see a couple of cats running around in the shadows. The gated community has like a night guard in front of a wrought iron gate, like one of those little kiosk-like buildings that all the guards in the movies hang out in.
Mm-hmm.
There's one of those, and there's an actual person in it who looks competent. But yeah, that's about the only thing. And then by the time you're in a position to observe either one of the neighborhoods, you're out of the town.
Classified, I've got eyes on a person-looking being. I'm going to say human. I want to believe, anyway.
Awfully bold of you to make that kind of assessment, given what we've been through. But all right, let's proceed under that basis. Do we have to go through them?
Eric, you said that's security, right? We do have to go through them, right?
No, you have to go past them.
Oh.
The entrance to the gated community would be stopped by him, but you have to turn off into like the driveway into the gated community.
Okay, so we can avoid him if we want, or we can engage with him if we're looking to engage.
Yeah, we don't have to go that way for our
You
mission.
can do either. If you just drive past, you won't encounter him. You can see him from his station because it's out in front. But the entrance to the gated community is 10 or 15 yards off of the main road.
Can we all attempt to get a look at him as we go past?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, apparently when Reaper goes to try to take a look, Hardman stands up in front of him, and all Reaper sees is Hardman.
Trying to see.
I mean, what it comes down to is that only among all of us, only the engineer is smart enough to look out the windows instead of trying to look directly through the walls.
Well, I'm trying to look out the front window, and I'm assuming Hardman decided to stand up to get a better look and just totally blocked me. Because
Yeah.
I literally rolled a 3.
I rolled a 7. I'm trying to see if he has any sort of military look about him, but I can't tell. I'm sure.
Well, I got a 15, and my drone got a 25 this time. He's finally living up to his programming.
I'm too far in the back to do a check.
Okay. So, yes, there's nothing on him that confirms he's military, but he holds himself like military, and he watches you the entire time. He watches you come down the street. He is eyeballing you directly in your eyes as you drive past him, and whoever can look out the back window watches his eyes follow you.
I forgot the most important piece of infiltration equipment that anyone has ever made, and I forgot it. I needed a clipboard.
Yeah.
Nobody left one in here, did they?
Nope, of course not.
Next time we requisition the clipboard first. So, folks, do you think that there's any kind of payoff in checking this thing out? Guy looks military, but that's not completely odd for a bunch of rich people who decide to live themselves in a zoo. Do we want to keep going on, or do you want to check into this? I can absolutely get us in behind that wall if we need to, but I don't know if there's any value in doing so. Thoughts?
Personally, I don't think there's any benefit of blowing our cover and interfering with the locals at this point, especially some of them may be military trained. My only thought would be if we can interrogate somebody and find out more about, supposedly this is a Finnish town, the Mabels and all that, but it's not. But if we went that route, we'd probably better off just getting some Joe Schmo in the regular section of town, not behind the gates.
I say we get to the next town where this power plant is.
All right, continue on to Site B. Everyone okay with that?
Roger.
Okay with it?
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Wave to the nice man.
So you get 2 or 3 miles outside of Springfield, and you're back in the dark. They don't even put like street lamps out this far out of any sort of town. And as you get into the blackness of night, because it's a new moon, of course, you can see the Milky Way galaxy, so that's nice. And a comet or two streaks by.
Good to know, or at least we know where we are.
Yeah. Up ahead of you is a glow, like there is a city up there. Not like Springfield, but some sort of full-blown, you're driving into a town of 60 or 70,000 people. There's enough ambient streetlight to pierce the darkness from at least a couple miles away.
Your 70,000 sounds like a lot for a town. Am I wrong?
Depends on the size of the town.
Okay.
I've been living in a black site for the last 6 years. Can't help you. I will ask you though, a scaffold. Do you see anything that could run electricity from that to where we just were? Because that seems to be what the I filled them in on what the sheriff said. He said that's where the energy was running from, but I don't see any electrical poles.
19 with a crit for my knowledge engineering. Anything here looks like it could be generating power and transporting it to site A, I guess.
You're not close enough to see if there's any sort of power plant
Okay.
or power making ability at site B yet. There are no transmission lines. There's no poles that stick up in the air. So if there is transmission thingies going on, they have to be underground in some way.
Not classified wherever they're making the power. They are not getting it to site A through traditional means. I'm thinking underground.
Any way that you would know if there's something was buried like alongside the road or anything like that? Like get out, pretend to answer the call of nature and just take a quick glance at the ground to see whether or not it's recently been disturbed, because everything else here is brand new.
I don't know about recently been disturbed, but I know, in cities and stuff, there will be markers to indicate what's underground, and I know they're trying to be subtle, but they also need to know where these underground wires or whatever they're transporting electricity with or power. So yeah, I'll give it a look.
That's why they gave you the degree. Go for it.
Why don't we get into town and try to get access to the service tunnels?
Sure, but while we're here,
I'm just trying to determine if there are any right now, and I may just be taking this as an opportunity to go and take a leak.
I didn't know we were doing that together.
Well, not together.
Okay, well, I rolled a 17 for technology with a crit just to get outside and check the ground for any markers that I believe would indicate what's underground for, technicians that are trying to repair problems.
Sure.
And I go in the other direction and take a leak, but I am keeping my head on a swivel.
Okay. We'll just make it easier and say the transmission, the little sticks that they put in the ground with the colored flags on them.
Yep.
They are evident on scaffold side of the road. You're basically traveling due west, so they would be on the north side of the road. And you see the standard colors. There's a marker for an electrical line. There's a marker for an fiber optic cable, and there's a strange color. Most of these things have pretty standard colors in the United States, so everybody knows what they're looking at, no matter who built it. But there is a chartreuse type color, like a sickly pea green.
Yep.
That does not match any modern designations for any type of piping that would be put underground.
All right. Well, when Classified's done with his business, when we get back in the car, I'll be like, you're right. It seems like there is something going on underground, and whoever installed it, they've either done their research or they have experience installing underground power circuits. There is something out of the ordinary mixed in with the other flags. There's a chartreuse flag that really, by any safety standard that I know about, and I know about a lot of them, that doesn't indicate anything.
All right, we're about to go into the city. Do we want to do a report out of the minor kind of discoveries that we found into base, or do we want to hold off on that?
Just write it down on your clipboard. Oh, wait.
If I had one.
I should take a story point away for forgetting the most essential undercover piece of equipment ever.
I would definitely support that, frankly, because that was a straight up me failing my smarts.
I think anything we report in risks, getting us pinged as someone other than an undercover UPS delivery service. But we're undercover on their side as far as they're concerned right now. So we wouldn't be sending out secret messages, right?
Well, it depends on who's monitoring us.
I mean, I think it's safe to assume we could be monitored. These people can build robots. They can build satellites.
That's what I'm saying. If we report back right now, we don't really have anything to report for the most part. Anything that we can confirm.
Yeah, there's nothing worth the risk of reporting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's my thought.
All right. I think we're on the same page.
Yep, sounds good to me. You've all persuaded me. Let's roll in. I move up front. Hardman Reaper, if you guys can sit towards the back so that you're not completely obvious to anyone looking in.
I'm sitting in the back.
That's where we've been.
All right. You crest another hill, because that's the most dramatic way to do these things. And before you is a completely different area. It takes up about the same space as Springfield. So call it probably a square mile, maybe a smidge more. And this also has like a main street and a first street kind of construction. Every building in here is huge. It's like a series of Amazon style warehouses, and everything is well lit. There are people marching in the streets. There are military style vehicles driving around. There is a large church right at the corner next to like a park, kind of in a similar setup as Springfield, but instead of like the potential for a baseball diamond or a water feature, this looks like a military parade ground. And there are people on it doing some sort of, even from a mile away, you can recognize drills when you see drills going on. That's your initial impression. You stop kind of awed, and you take this in 5 or 6 seconds.
No, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
You guys think the Fuhrer's in there?
We immediately we got to look and see whether or not these are American troops. Like, I'd hate to say that we're walking into somebody else's party, but if they are not, then we're in a much bigger situation than we thought we did. And maybe we should have gone across to that weird foreign land to fight 50 robots.
I mean, I have a grenade launcher. 50 robots sounded like fun.
Does anyone have binoculars?
Just a drone.
So, yeah, zoom in with the drone.
Just wanted to give you a brief moment of panic. Somebody give me an alerts check with the drone zoomies.
I left the binoculars on the clipboard.
Oh, no. 16 with the drone.
They're sitting on his bunk.
All right. I'm going to look through the drone sensors and do an alertness with an edge, assuming that an edge is something I can do right now.
Mm-hmm. You're fine.
Okay. A mighty 14.
Okay.
One of these days, I'm going to figure out where the windows are.
Yeah, that's enough to recognize that they are not wearing uniforms at all. In fact, a couple of the guys that you kind of zoom in on in one group, doesn't matter if it's the parade ground or the guys like marching down Main Street, they're dressed like hillbillies. Ripped up flannels, knit baseball caps with funny logos on them, and they're all carrying like M16s or AK-47s or some sort of, you would probably guess, fully automatic assault type rifles.
Nothing futuristic, right? As far as weaponry?
Not in your initial sweep.
Can I do another check with my advanced technology skill to determine whether or not I see any technology that's out of place for another scary militia that is probably more deadly at this point to us than robots?
Yes.
Right. And I'll take an edge from the drone sensors, if that is allowed. And I will roll many dice.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, that gives us a 16 crit on the 4, crit on the 6 for a total of 22 plus 2 crits.
Yeah. The number of crits is irrelevant. So, yes, there are some signs of advanced weaponry, mostly in the hands of, without a better designation, the drill sergeants. Most of them have a pistol that does not immediately match with anything that you're aware of. And as engineers, and not like hard man charge into the fight infantry guys, maybe you're not familiar with every brand. The Marines get out some weird stuff. But yeah, the personal armaments on the drill sergeant type people are advanced enough to give you concern.
What are we doing classified?
Okay. Well, we find ourselves in enemy territory. First thing I'm going to look for is, are there any other delivery trucks anywhere around here? Second thing I'm going to look for, and I'm looking for some assistance in doing so, is to see whether or not we've caught any attention. And third thing I'm looking for is, how the hell do we get out of here and recollect ourselves to come back in?
Okay. I can answer all 3 of those questions with the 6 sets of headlights that go on about a quarter of a mile behind you.
That sounds about appropriate. Yeah. We got 2 choices here. Scaffold, if you're feeling particularly quick right now, we can drop the hammer and try and get out of town into the darkness. Or we can stop and try and talk it out. Or we can shoot it out, I suppose. I mean, hard man, theoretically, you could drop the back doors open and make sure that there's nobody following us.
I was going to say, I'm taking my pistol I had in my hand away, and I'm pulling my heavy machine gun out. for whichever option we take.
And Reaper is sitting back there with him, probably on the other side of the, doors. The two of us can kick the doors open and just, start firing out the back and cause all kinds of hell.
I would love to be a little bit further out of town because we're heading basically into the center of it at this point. So that does not present us with much of a tactical advantage. Maybe we just keep going. If they stop us, we can try and talk it out. But I suspect that we're a little beyond that point. But maybe that's when you guys go weapon free. But you don't want to fire a rocket launcher in the truck.
Right.
Because as it turns out, despite what some people suggest, rocket flames do actually hurt.
Yeah, but my grenade launcher's fine.
Oh, you should be fine with that then.
I have a machine gun out right now.
It looks like we're in for some business. So there were no other trucks. There was nobody headed anywhere or anything like that. It's just us on the road.
I mean, there's a good chance the guy that told us about Site B called it into Site B and said, like, expect this delivery, right?
Possibility.
That is an interesting and practical thing. Maybe we should still be looking forward. Have we seen anything that looks like a power plant?
No.
Okay. All right.
Just to add to the tension level, let's roll for initiative.
All righty then.
Da-da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun.
Rolling with a snag, 11.
I got a whopping 10.
Hardman got an 18.
All right, so Scaffold got a 6, and his drone got a 15.
So, one of these sets of headlights, and the headlights themselves are bright enough to basically prevent you from identifying the type of vehicle, at least when they're still better part of a quarter mile away. So 3 of the cars, half of them, roll forward, and they make it 60 or 70 yards, just enough to where you can tell that they've moved and that they're getting closer. And then one of them, you're not sure which one, comes up over some sort of loudspeaker and says, UPS truck, stop your car, throw the keys out the window.
Well, that's a bit rude.
Well, this sounds like negotiations are over.
Is there anything within grasp that could be mistaken for keys that I could throw out?
I was like,
I don't know, make a bluff.
I'm a combat medic. I grab a
Yo, Joe.
fucking carabiner off of my
Yo, Joe.
gear and hand to him and tell him to throw that out the window instead of scissors to it.
Does that work?
Yeah, make a deception or some performance type roll, and you can have an edge on it since it's dark, you're far away, and you're kind of sort of complying.
All right, well, that edge turns it into just a straight D20 roll because I have no deception.
I'll support him, though, giving him 2 upshifts
Oh, all right.
using plan of action. Here's how we're going to do it. You're going to lie.
Maybe he slapped something else on there too to just give more deception.
Yeah, so that's a total of 8.
8, nice. So yeah, it looks fine, but you don't toss them very far, and the scissors stick straight up out of the ground and just kind of sit there and be shiny.
As keys do.
All right, good try, everybody. I'm going to try and talk our way out of this.
All right, you want to take the driver's seat? I got a backpack to strap on.
Yeah, you guys get ready. If I drop to the ground, either because I'm shot or because I just dropped to the ground, go hot.
Be careful with the scissors. Those aren't my good ones, though. I kept those ones. Don't fall in the scissors, though.
Okay, hard man.
yes, Hardman. I'm going to hold my action until, who was it, Classified that was talking?
Yes.
Drops to the ground.
Scaffold's drone,
Scaffold's drone's not doing anything.
classified.
I walk out and completely chill, no hands up, no anything, just walking towards them and saying,
Out which door?
I assume that Scaffold's kind of going to the back to start jetpacking up. So I'm going to get out of the driver's side door and walk towards them extremely casually. This was the point where I really needed that clipboard, but I'm going to go in without it.
Brave man.
So basically, you don't get a chance to speak. You don't get close enough to speak, even with like a raised voice. They put a line of bullets about 10 yards in front of you.
So can they see me frown at them? Like, are they close enough to see a frown? I'm well lit.
Yeah.
Is that really necessary? And I'll roll bluff on that. With edge, hey, that's the stuff. That is a 25 with a crit on the 6.
Nice.
Everything else was ones and twos, but those two mattered.
You do a good impression of a UPS guy there, faux UPS guy, but no one told you to move.
I sigh painfully and say, look, you know as well as I do that this is not a UPS truck. I am delivering to you your drone mechanic, and then I am the hell out of here. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't care what's going on. I didn't see anything, but I have the drone mechanic that you asked for, and if you don't want him, I'm happy to turn around and just leave. I didn't see a damn thing.
Turn to Ardman like, is he giving me up? Am I the payload?
I hope not.
He's still speaking through like the loudspeaker or the megaphone or some sort of instrument like that.
And I'm literally crossing my arms and tapping my foot like, why is this taking so long?
Why this is just going on and we're waiting in the van just for shits and giggles. Reaper finds a packing label and sticks it on Scaffold's back.
The package.
Says, "You're the package."
Okay. He says, we didn't get any report of a delivery. Hold still. And then just before he clicks off the mic, you hear him say, call scrap.
Can the guys in the van hear this?
Yes.
Okay.
Classified hasn't dropped to the ground yet.
So I have my comlink open on my whatever those things are that I'm wearing on my wrist.
Yep. HTTPs.
Yeah. So the HTTP is open so you can hear in whatever I can hear. That's my SOP for whenever I do one of these things. Because if I say something really cool, I want everyone to be able to hear it.
I need an alertness or a deception or a streetwise or a survival roll.
Deception it is. With Edge. And can I support anyone else on this roll? Or is it a skill check? Or is it something within a combat action?
It's a skill check.
Okay.
Is it just for him?
Oh, it's for everybody.
Okay.
I'm going to give Scaffolds a double upshift from plan of action.
Hardman got a 17.
I got a 16.
I rolled a 6 with a natural 1. Sorry, I wasted your plan.
That was not the plan. I am so disturbed by your lack of following the plan that I roll a 13. No crits.
So this silence stretches on for about 45 seconds. Scaffold, you tend not to notice because you're strapping on your backpack and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's safety protocols, so you don't do a Mach 2 turn and then fall off. Hardman, it occurs to you first. Like, no one's approaching you. No one's threatening you. And the silence is going on for an awfully long time. Maybe there's something else going on here.
I'm going to relay that over HTV. It's awfully silent for a long time. I don't know if they have a backup coming in or there's something going on here.
Said he was calling somebody.
Or they have us targeted.
Heads up.
All right. Do you want to make the call then? I'll try and distract them so you can get the first move in. But once that happens, it's about finding cover and fighting our way out. Are you ready to make that call?
Let's do it.
It's got to be all of us. You in, Scaffold?
I'm in.
If you can, safely get the drone up and try and give us some site intel to figure out where to run next, or even fly up yourself and guide us there.
Yeah, we'll both take this guy.
All right. Excellent.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
Bad guys go first. They're choosing to extend the intermission. So, Hardman.
I am going to kick the back door open. And quick question, switching weapons, is that a free action or is that a standard action?
It's on the size of the weapon.
Okay, just for this round, my standard action, I am going to do my suppressing fire.
Okay.
So as a standard action, I suppress a fire area equal to the multiple targets of my heavy weapon, which is 5. Any enemies who start that turn in the area have their toughness and evasion reduced by 5 until the start of my next turn. And then I make a targeting attack against the willpower of any enemies who start their turn in that area. If I succeed, they're frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
Okay.
So that I have a
Like, to be fair, I'm frightened of you right now.
18, not quite, and 7, 25.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. So you hear some metal and some glass breaking. One of the 3 that advanced and one of the 3 that didn't advance peel forward and turn around and drive the other way.
It's a short-term gain.
Yeah. And that is all you can see from that.
Okay. Real quick, technical question. Is that considered an attack or no?
No, I wouldn't call that an attack.
Oh, that's what I thought. Because I get if I attack, I get a second attack. But
Yeah, and if you get an attack, you get an upshift because it's the first attack of the combat.
so that's not an attack. So yeah, I'm done then.
Scaffold.
All right, taken to the sky. So my jetpack speed, 40 feet. Yeah, 40 feet aerial. Yeah, so I will fly up 40 feet and I will command my drone to attack, which is a free action because it's an attack drone.
Okay.
But it's got its own turn, so I can wait for that. Let's see, as far as standard actions go, really, I'm not in range of any of my weapons. Oh, wait, what's my pistol's range? Long range is 80 feet. All right, so we're opening fire here, right? I mean, suppressive fire was just...
Yeah, I've started.
Yeah. Okay.
Take your upshift.
Yeah, I take my upshift, but I'm suffering a snag, so I will use Think on it to give myself an edge and cancel out my snag. I'm suffering a snag because of the range, and then I get to use Driving because I am flying on this same turn. 23 to hit, no crit.
Okay, that hits.
All right, 1 sharp damage. I'm attacking the main guy who was talking, right?
You're doing your best.
Okay.
It's hard to identify individuals yet because of the blinding from the headlamp.
Okay, fair enough.
Classify.
I'm going to hit the ground, giving them the signal to attack now.
We assumed.
And I'm going to attempt to report in. I'm almost certain that this transmission is going to get blocked, but I'm going to attempt to do it anyway, and I will attempt to use my computer's ability, if I am blocked, to try and get past it and just get out a warning about where we are and that there are heavily armed militias with advanced technology that are here, and a military response may be required, or National Guard response may be required.
Okay. Yeah, you're being jammed.
I'm shocked. All right, let's roll this thing. So can I do a roll to attempt to get past that?
Yes, you can.
I have a D12 and give myself an edge. Data point gives me an edge. And I roll. Okay, so I have a 26, no crit.
Okay. You managed to find a bandwidth that seems to punch through, and you send your quick message, giving the best coordinates that you can, and advanced militia and everything you just said, but you don't actually know if it got through. The little HTB sending icon just spins. It never gets to a sent setting.
About what I expected, but I had to try. All right, and the rest of the round, if I have any, I spend taking cover and trying not to get killed by either side.
Okay. Reaper.
Alrighty. I'm assuming this back of this vehicle's got like the double doors that open in the back.
Oh yeah. Do the
Hard man kicked open and broke the lock on, yes.
Good, sweet. So that means I have plenty of room to stick my artillery launcher out the back and light these dudes up. I rolled a 17 to hit with my artillery launcher. I want to hit like the biggest cluster of what I can. I've got a 10-foot range, so like, yeah, I'm here to
Yo, Joe.
shit up.
You cannot see any individual people because of the headlights. You can see 2 sets of headlights that are forward from the rest of the group. They're still 100 yards away. They've been communicating with you through the loudspeaker.
Oh, they're okay. They're okay, because I got 200 feet, so they're still a little bit too far away.
Well, I mean, one of the advantages of theater of the mind is we can kind of fudge these things a little bit. If you want to take a snag, you can fire on them.
I'll hit the closest one to me.
Okay.
nice thing about artillery is that it doesn't have to be exactly targeted.
Yeah, it's still 17.
Okay. Yeah, and that hits.
Okay. And it does 2 sharp damage to everything in a 10-foot blast.
Am I within that 10-foot blast? No, I'm not. Okay.
Nope, you're good. Scaffold, what's the name of your drone?
Get the Annie Tinny, Annie.
Yeah, that one.
His turn.
Known to his friends as Need It.
All right, so he's got a 30-foot aerial, so he's going to fly as of where Scaffold launches him, so he can get within 75 feet, which is the range of his laser. And as of this level, he is specialized in his laser, firing on, again, a target, whichever target I can get.
Okay.
Oh, that is sad. 9.
That does not quite hit anything in the dark blackness.
Seriously.
But that takes us to the top of the round, and the bad guys, who immediately open fire from 3 sides.
Ah, that's what you heard.
Alrighty. So I'm going to make one blanket attack from each side of the UPS truck. The walls of the truck, at least for this round until they're shredded, will provide you 1 point of armor, which Classified does not get. He's not in the truck.
Nope. Nor do I get the benefit from the shield.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I definitely do not get the benefit from the shield, but the 2 people in the truck do.
Well, my shield's not active yet. It
Never
takes
mind.
every action to activate it. So
So Classified is prone. Well, I'm not attacking specific people. So Classified, you're going to get a +5 to your defense because you're prone, and Scaffold, you're going to get a +5 to your defense because you're high up in the ground and not in direct fire.
Makes sense to me.
All the bonuses like that just for ease of reference. So from the front, from the 4 remaining vehicles, I got a 4. So you're probably good there. That's Hardman's suppressive fire at work. From the left side, you get a lot of like rebel yells and yeehaws before the side of the van is just Swiss cheese with automatic gunfire. Nobody gets hit because I rolled an 11. And coming from the right side, it's more small arms fire, but more arrows. So do with that what you will. A lot of them stick in the side of the van, but very few actually pierce because I got a measly little 12 on that. I'm having just as bad a night as you are. Hardman, you have new information. What do you want to do?
well, I think for my best bet, I'm going to activate my shield this round.
Okay.
That takes a standard action, but anyone within 10 feet of me gets a +4.
At this point, it's everyone inside the van, which is essentially Reaper.
Okay.
Yay!
So you get a +4.
Assuming you don't move, which you may wish to do.
What else, Hardman?
And that's it for now. I'm done.
Are you not moving?
Not for now, no.
Okay.
I'm stupid.
Scaffold.
Yep, I'm going to keep flying. Try and fly like really obviously. I feel like I'm in the most defensive position, so I'm going to make a spectacle of myself and hopefully draw people's attention. I don't know if you want me to roll anything for that or just have it be flavor. I can try and persuade them.
Let's try and give you a mechanical benefit. Do you have intimidation?
No, I only have persuasion as far as like something to convince someone.
Okay.
I don't have performance. So we're good with persuasion?
All right. So let's set the target number to 15.
Oh, then this 17 is going to do me just well.
Okay, you got a 17.
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody that can see you will get a downshift to hit everybody else.
All right, cool. And what kind of action was that?
That's going to be a main action, because you're going to have to fly around in circles and hoot and holler and make a spectacle of yourself, and it's going to eat up some time.
Okay, fair enough. So then that'll be my standard action, and my move action will just be moving another 40 feet in the air.
Okay. Are you basically going straight up?
No, I'm going deeper into the crowd.
Okay. Classified.
I yell at Hardman, do you want to get out of there or not?
I'm fine for now.
Okay. So I'm going to try and do a situational awareness and try and move myself to directly in between the arrows and the yeehaws so that if they shoot at me, they have to shoot at each other. I'm trying to do this as low on the ground as I can.
Yeah. And as far as generally tactically, that's happening now anyway.
Ah, excellent. So it isn't that much of an effort.
Yeah. The yeehaws are going to have to shred the van on both sides to get into the position to be able to fire on the arrows. And the arrows are basically going to have to do the same thing, but they're less likely to shred the van before the yeehaw guys are.
All right. Or at all, for that matter. Okay. Then I am going to... Can I bluff someone I can't even see? Probably not. I'm going to hold my action.
Okay. Draper.
I am going to go ahead and light up that same vehicle again with my grenade launcher again.
Okay.
I figure if I blow up the lead vehicle, that might deter some people. And that is a 25.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And that is another 2 sharp damage.
Awesome.
And a 10-foot blast radius.
Scaffold's drone.
Scaffold's drone's firing the laser discriminately.
Any particular side? You're still going after the vehicles?
Yeah, we'll go after the vehicles.
Okay.
11.
Not quite good enough.
Sad day to be a laser drone.
Back to the top of the round. Bad guys. Okay, so how are we going to do this? The front guys are screwed. There's almost no chance that they will hit anything because of all the massive downshifting, but I still rolled a 5. So Rebel Yell guys, however, are not under the suppressive fire downshifts. Start chucking grenades. How much is your force field good for, Hardman?
Between my forceful is a 4.
Okay.
But my total toughness is a 25.
Right. So adding the 4 to your toughness, Reaper, what is your new toughness?
24.
Classified. What is your
If I am still prone, which I intended to be, that gives me 23.
Okay. Nothing from Yeehaw side. And the arrow guys stop firing, and you can hear the racking of chambers and slides. They switch to more heavy, normal weaponry.
Heavy normal weaponry? What's that mean?
Okay.
Bad guys went, so we're at Hardman.
I have a rules question.
Okay.
Either the GM or anyone else that may know about the game. So I'm going to use my heavy machine gun, and then when I attack, I get 2 attacks. Can I use a free action to switch to my pistol, and then take my second attack with the pistol, or is the second attack with the same weapon?
Where do you get your second attack from?
My
There we go, 5th level.
general perk. Yeah, general perk. I attack twice instead of once when I take attack action. I'm not quite sure how that reads if I have to take them both at the same time or if I can do a free action between to switch weapons.
Yeah, because you got to reload on your weapon, you'd never benefit from it. I think that's fair. Just to, visually it makes sense, and the rules wise, it's not. It's within the rules, I would say.
Could I just drop my machine gun and pull my pistol out? And
Yeah, because I mean, isn't pulling a pistol a free action?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's just so you would just try to drop the machine gun.
Yeah.
Then yeah.
I mean, if you got it on a sling, like I carry my weapons on a sling, it's a free action to swap between them.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm going to say. My first action to fire take my 2 downshift. I'm sorry, 3 downshift. And I am firing my machine gun. That way it does.
Sorry, side note, when we rolled initiative, each of you got 1 temporary health.
Oh, okay.
Might matter.
It very well may.
Not yet. I can't roll for crap.
We're hoping it stays that way.
And don't think we don't appreciate it. We walked in the middle of an ambush of our own making.
So there it is. Which gives me, I'm taking my targeting. It uses I take target 5 people with it, taking my downshift.
Okay.
For a 15.
15 is not enough.
Okay. And then I'm going to drop the machine gun to my side and grab my pistol and take another shot, which I'm not downshifting, so it's a little better. Maybe 7 plus 14, 21.
Okay. That is good enough.
So that does 1 sharp to the, I'm shooting at the guy in the front car, in the driver's seat. I'm assuming they're still in this car. Did he jump out or?
You're not 100% sure. You hear a kind of a pained grunt. You know you hit something, but you really don't know if he's dead.
And then I'm going to use my perk of Snapshot, which I can take 2 of my free moves and convert them to 2 free actions to get a second attack for the same type of weapon. I'll take another shot
Nice.
with 12 and a 7. Yeah, 7, 19.
Yep.
That's another 1 sharp.
Good.
And is who is it? Reaper still in the truck?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to hold my last move action. My move action. If Reaper jumps out, I'm going to jump out and stay with him, so he stays it's within 10 feet of him.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty much basing my move off of you until this place needs to be abandoned. I say,
Yeah.
We stay here and use it as cover.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
But yeah, in case you decide to bolt, I'm going with you to keep within range.
You guys do know that your cover has a gas tank, right?
Yeah, but we also have a shield.
Okay.
Scaffold.
We also have more cover than you laying on the ground.
You make a good point.
Am I within 40 feet of something? Or actually, I guess 55 feet of somebody.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to swoop down and then take a sharp upward turn so that I blast them from the exhaust of my jetpack.
Sweet.
All right, so I'm going to do the full complement, think on it to give myself an edge. And I'm a peerless pilot, so I got up 2 on this, and I'm specialized.
Keepers.
I know, everything's working out.
Is this a skill check?
This is a skill check.
I give you an upshift of 2.
Of 2. Oh, all right. Well, that sends me up to the 2d6 range. Pretty cool.
Here's how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
This time you're going to follow the plan.
All right, I'll follow the plan this time. All right, 17 on the better die plus looks like 6 is the highest result, but no crit. So 23 to hit.
That still hits.
All right, so that does 1 fire damage to a 15-foot cone. So if there's any chance I can get more than 1 target, I can spread that fire around.
You set 2 stereotypical, like ninja garbed individuals on fire.
Excellent. Just the way I like them. And so now I'm within 15 feet of them. I had to do like a full swoop down to get within range of my element jet. But I'm happy with that turn.
Okay, classified.
Using mobilize, I am giving Scaffold my move action.
Ooh, nice. All right. I fly up 40 feet to, the cover of sky.
I'm holding the rest of my action.
Okay. Reaper would be up next. So I guess he's holding for the moment. We can do dramatic things. Scaffold or scaffold drone.
Well, I just went. So I guess it's my drone?
Drone.
All right. Drone's going to blast one of the flaming ninjas.
They should be easier to target since they're on fire.
Yeah, exactly. Get rid of their one advantage. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay, so I got an 18. All of my skill dice were on their highest, so that is definitely a crit.
Ow. I'll throw you guys a bone. Since that was an incredible roll, it needs to be heralded and appreciated, so you killed that guy.
Yeah. I carved up the cook's ninja.
Yep. So, bad guys. From behind you, which would be to the front of the UPS truck. Reaper would be up next.
I was going to fire at the group that was lighting us up with the machine gun fire, shredding the box truck.
Yeehaw guys?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was going to use my grenade launcher, and I got a 22 and a 21. I was just going to fire in one zone, then kind of move and fire in another zone, just laying down fire.
All right, cool. You definitely hear less yeehaws and more ow.
I'm going to take my action now then, before dramatic things happen, and I am going to rouse difficulty 15 persuasion skill test to add 1 story point to the story point pool.
Good.
No, that dice is gone forever. Well, folks, I think that we have strategically figured out the best possible thing that we could do, and we've got them right where they want us. Oh God, I think we're going to die. Never mind. You know what? I'll get back to you. It was not the best speech.
I was still moved.
I would be moved, but I gave my move to Scaffold.
Yeah. The dramatic thing happens. From behind you, from the front forward arc of the UPS truck, is 2 terror drones. No, not terror drones. Trouble bubbles.
Ooh, terror drones.
I'm flying through the air.
No, yeah. I said the wrong words.
They are the feet of a giant robot.
I'm half tempted to make that because that sounds cool, and I should have thought of that. But no, trouble bubbles. On it is a heavily armored man with a red and blue helmet with the blast visor put down, and he is driving a trouble bubble that is positively loaded with armor-piercing anti-aircraft missiles. All of them are pointed at the UPS truck.
Ruh-roh.
And the other guy is someone you have never seen before. He's dressed in some sort of blue uniform and has a reflective mirror-type faceplate. You can't actually see his face. You're reasonably sure it's a man, but his trouble bubble has just like a 50 caliber machine gun mounted underneath it that is also pointed towards the UPS truck. And he's the one who talks, even though the missile guy has all the firepower, and says, if you surrender in the next 10 seconds, you probably won't die. This is the only warning you'll receive.
I look at Hardman. I say, I think it's time to get out of the truck.
Yes.
You lead, I'll follow.
Waiting for my turn. Yes.
Hardman.
All right. I am going to use my move action to jump out of the truck and run for the hills. How far can I run?
So We did previously have Scaffold go up to look at what would be a good thing to exfiltrate towards that might provide some cover or something. It's probably good to have that discussion right now.
Can I look around now, or do I have to wait for my next turn?
Well, we're technically still in combat, so let's wait for your turn.
All right. I'm going to run. How far away is the cars that was following us? The closest ones?
They're still 60 or 70 yards away, really.
Okay. I'm going to jump and run towards them 30 feet.
Okay.
And then once I get there, I've got my pistol out still. I am going to. Am I able to see anybody at this point, or is it still too bright?
It's still basically too bright. I mean, maybe you can start making out some silhouettes or something, but there's definitely no detail yet.
Okay. I am going to use my first shot and shoot out the headlight. One of the headlights.
Okay. That's going to be the difficulty 18.
I missed completely. Got a 9. And I'm going to use 2 of my free actions for another shot for a nice 20, dirty or 22.
Still trying for the headlights?
Yes.
Then you get one of them. And maybe it opens up some slightly sharper silhouettes, but there's still really no detail possible.
Right. And I did my move action. Okay, I'm done.
Scaffold?
All right, I am going to look around, and I'm going to have Bithiani Tiniani look around as well, see what we can do about an exfiltration line.
Okay.
14 for Scaffold, and we'll have to wait for the drone.
Okay. 14. You have no good options.
Yeah.
You're on a small rise. It's not quite the hill that the last hill was before you got into a town.
Right.
It's basically a small rise in the middle of Nebraska with nothing around it. There's no corn, there's no forest, there's no nothing. It's flat ground. You can see, if it were noon and there were no smog, you could see 4 miles in every direction. So there's essentially no place to hide.
All right.
The least dangerous is probably running towards the 2 trouble bubbles so you can be under them. But that is only marginally less dangerous than any other direction that you can go.
That also sounds pretty temporary as far as escape. All right, Classified, I got some bad news for you. There's nowhere to go.
Those things don't look particularly aerodynamic. Do you think you can push them into each other?
Oh, you say everything doesn't look particularly aerodynamic.
I'm not the engineer here.
Use your imagination.
I'm pretty sure they're like bumblebees. If you ever explained to them that they couldn't fly, they wouldn't be able to.
So I can try and outmaneuver them and get them to crash into each other, but that feels like a long shot.
At this point, I'm head down on the ground, so I don't have the best understanding of what's going on. So I have to leave you to, you're the man in the air, make your best judgment.
All right. Can I make a technology check to see if these are computerized, the flight pods? Basically, would they be susceptible to the electromagnetic weapon that I requisitioned?
Sure. Yes, make a technology roll.
Okay. Do I get my engineering specialization?
Yes.
All right. It's only an 11. It is a crit if that's enough.
Probably, but you don't know for sure.
All right. It's probably still better for me to engage them in close combat than it is for me to be at the mercy of their ranged weapons. So I'm going to fly in, I'm going to charge, and I'm going to attack.
Okay.
Yeah, I can draw this as a free action because it is a sidearm. I get all the fancy stuff for being specialized and my full usual routine with my flying attack. Ooh, all right, so 17 plus 7 is 24, but no crits. Oh, wait, but it's up 3 because it's electromagnetic. So does that come into play? Is it electromagnetic?
Yes, actually it is.
Yeah, okay, great. That doesn't help. And does this help? No, so no crits. But I got a 27 is my total.
Oof. Yeah, that still hits them.
All right, so it does 1 electromagnetic damage to. I guess I charged the one with the visor.
Okay.
So yeah, we are within close combat range at this point.
Yep. Classified.
I can see his visor. I can see the whites of his eyes. I'm going to attempt to. So 2 things. No. You know what? No. Let's hold this through. I'm gonna ride or die this out here before I do my contingency plan. I'm going to attempt to deception outwit the guy in the trouble bubble with all the missiles. I tell him, "You so ugly, you're the one who should be wearing the faceplate." And I roll go with an edge from data points. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, that is a 24 natural 20 crit and a 4 crit. The rest don't matter. One of them's a 1 too. I rolled a 20 and a 1 on 2d20.
Okay. What does that do?
So he should be stunned for 2 turns, unable to take an action. I'm not sure what that happens when you're flying. Maybe these things hover in place. I don't know how they're in the air in the first place, so I don't know how they would stay in the air if you were stunned.
Trouble bubbles alone. They fly because they're cool.
Damn straight.
They would fly like a giant bowling ball.
They just fly out of pure
Yo, Joe.
fucking will.
I will have no one disparage the trouble bubble in my presence, even if they're attacking me.
They would fly like a giant bowling ball because the engine would shoot them around in a circle, and they would be a bowling ball of destruction. Ooh, a 20 and a 1 right next to each other. That is such an argument for getting edges.
Extreme.
All right. Okay. Reaper.
I am going to move out of the truck and move up with Hard Man to get the benefit of his shield again, staying with him. And I am going to fire my artillery lobber. I should have 2 more rounds in this thing before I need to reload it. I am going to fire the sucker in on that lead vehicle, targeting right at the front of it to take out that other headlight, so we have some better sight on our side and are not being blinded by the damn thing. And my first attack is going to be an 11, and my second attack with it will be a 17.
That's better.
And that does 2 sharp damage.
Okay.
And a 10-foot blast.
Scaffold's your own.
All right. He is going to back up Scaffold with a shot at the trouble bubble that the guy with the visor is flying. 19 with potential crit.
Okay. Yes, that crits.
All right, so that does 2 laser damage to the trouble bubble.
Missile guy or faceplate guy?
Missile guy.
Missile guy can't evade.
Right. So his trouble bubble is going to go down.
Woo.
But we're going to leave him for now because I assume comic books are going to need him later, so we can't really kill him.
Oh, I see the parachute. He jumped out and got free.
Yes.
He just got burned up a little more.
Yeah, we will absolutely use the parachute trope and steal a line from the cartoon.
Parachutes work at 25. Parachutes work at 25 feet off the ground.
The hang glider.
All right. I need the faceplate guy. Basically says, I admire your tenacity and your skill. You have my word of honor that if you give up, he won't kill you. This is your last warning.
Last warning was our last warning.
And he says it with a much more serious kind of baritone voice than I can really manage, but you believe him. So if anyone has a social or smarts defense higher than 22, willpower or cleverness higher than 22, you can resist this, and you can resist it anyway. I'm not dictating actions to you, but you understand that even if you got the missile guy and avoided direct, horrible, fiery death, you've given the fact that all the people that are surrounding you plenty of time to draw their heavy weapons and grenades, and they're about to really foobar the whole situation.
So mathematically, can we believe that Eric can screw up enough rolls for us to survive?
No.
I mean, statistically, some of them have to come out, right? Like that's how
This
dice
one non-combat intimidation roll is my best roll of the night, and I only managed a 22.
I mean, we've done some crazy shit already, and we don't have to kill everybody. We just got to punch a hole and get the
Yo, Joe.
fuck out.
I can probably take care of the of faceplate, but you got a whole lot of yeehaws, bunch of ninjas, and I'm not sure that we brought enough bullets.
Plus, the being captured adventure trope is something that we should probably experience.
Scaffold, you want to be part of this, or do you want to take off?
That is the GM. That is the GM going. Okay, players, you're getting captured no matter what happens. You're screwed.
Not no
You can
matter
either-
what happens.
You can either go nicely or I can rough you up.
If you want to fight it out, we can fight it out. I'm just letting you know what your situation.
Scaffold,
Yeah.
we're down. We're done. You want away, or do you want to be part of this?
I'll go home, or none of us go home.
All right, Land. Let's see what this guy has to offer. If I can get fewer guns pointed out of us, I'm pretty sure I could take this guy brain to brain, but I can't take on that many guns. Many, many, many bullets shot in my direction, completely unaimed, is my only weakness.
So yeah, I land my jetpack.
So I turn up to him and say, all we wanted to do was talk. And I'll throw bluffing on that to see whether or not it lands. Okay, that's a 18. No crits.
Okay.
I was hoping for more out of that die, frankly. It performed really well previously.
And he counters with, and I am very much interested in speaking to you, like how some sort of ambiguous military squad found my top secret hidden city base. So why don't we discuss that at my place?
All right. I want a parting shot, but I haven't got it in my head yet.
Shoot 'em.
All right, but you have to send away all your stormtroopers over there before they randomly shoot out all your lights or something. They clearly couldn't hit the broadside of a UPS truck.
They are all under training, and this exercise will be used against them very soon, I assure you.
All right. Well, no harm ever come from having a chat.
You can just feel the evil smile behind the faceplate. So, just to make this official, hard man, surrender or fight?
I'll drop my pistol. Hands in the air.
Scaffold,
Surrender.
Creeper,
He growls, but puts his hands up.
I would say I dropped my pistol, but I actually never drew a gun the entire time. So I hands up and walk. I'm not even going to hands up. I'm just going to walk forward. I'm not armed. Well, I'm gun in my sheath, but nothing, nothing outwardly aggressive. Man wants to talk. We're going to talk.
all right. And three sides of the army kind of flow in. Yeehaw side was literally the hillbillies you saw on your first scan. Beer, koozie, hat things, and flannel sleeveless shirts, and greasy jeans, and toothpicks, and M16s. The ninjas were not all in ninja uniforms, but a couple of them carry themselves like they have real ability or skill, or might actually be actual ninjas. The guys in the cars have uniforms, which you don't recognize, which seem to be in some sort of red and blue colored motif that is unfamiliar. Although you do see the snake-ish symbol that you saw at the submarine, at the billionaire submarine on Skull Island. It is that exact symbol.
Frickin' billionaires with their own private armies again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to do a parting social attack on the rednecks and tell them, I can see now why the ninjas make so much fun of you.
Nice. Okay. All right. So you are escorted down into Site B.
And this has been an episode of the Energon Protocols. The Energon Protocol stars Aaron Moss as Hardman and as Stealth Mode, Eric Ergen as Copper Stout, Ryan Costello as Scaffold and Shoehorn, Joshua McGuire as Reaper and Mongoose, Charles Cushman as Classified and Ghost Town, and starring Eric Smith as the Storyteller. A big thanks to Hasbro, Marvel Comics, Skybound Entertainment, and all the other comic companies for the years of great G.I. Joe resources and stories. And thanks to Renegade Studios and all their employees for their role-playing game. And a big thank you to all you listening to the Energon Protocols. This is a mostly monthly podcast where a handful of geeks get together to play the Renegade Studios role-playing game, G.I. Joe. If you like what you're listening to, check out the role-playing game yourself. Go to renegadestudios.com and check out their fine listing of games. G.I. Joe, Transformers, Power Rangers, and many others. Also, be sure to check out the other shows on my network. My main G.I. Joe show is G.I. Joe, a Real American Headcast, and the brother show, which is Bravo Team, which looks at the G.I. Joe comics, cartoons, and other assorted G.I. Joe goodness over the years. There's also Head Speaks, where I look at anything geek-related. Plus, there are several other shows available at headcast.headspeaks.com. Again, that is headcast.headspeaks.com. And if you like what I'm doing here, head over to patreon.com/headcastnetwork and throw a few bucks in the tin. Greatly appreciated. And be sure to join us here next month for another amazing adventure of the Energon Protocols on the Headcast Network.
Yo, Joe.
So at this point, I just kind of need to know what flavor of captured adventure that you want. We did this once before in my other G.I. Joe campaign.
Yep.
I will give you the choice. You can make up a rescue squad, make up all new characters that are level 5 that will be hired or recruited by Beachhead to come and find you, or we can stick with these characters and you'll be imprisoned in some way and probably lightly tortured, and you can figure out a way to escape.
I'm fine either way. I mean, I've done the make new characters and free them, but I'm easy either way.
Because of the specifics of classified, if somebody tried to take data point away from him, he would eat a
Cyanide capsule.
he'd take one of the grenades and frag himself, like so that data point couldn't go there. So that may affect kind of the decision making process. It might be better
Sure.
to have them. It might be better to have them rescued by somebody else.
I was going to vote for rescue, put together a team of rescuers.
I'm good either way.
Got 2 4 and 2 neutral, so that basically tells me 4.
Yep.
Your guys are captured. So before you can frag yourself classified, someone renders you unconscious and unable to. They might not necessarily strip away the point right away, but that will be a goal for them, and you'll be experimented on and tortured a little bit.
That's all right.
A deal.
Unfortunately, being knocked unconscious is my only weakness.
So everybody makes up alternate level 5 guys. I would encourage you to branch out, try something new, and then usually what happens is, assuming no one dies in the rescue, they're new guys or old guys, then you essentially have a rotating roster of guys that you can use on a per mission basis. So you'll run a stable of characters. You can mix and match depending on who you think is best for the particular mission that you're about to go on.
Why don't we, as a group, kind of hang out for a few minutes if you guys are up for it? Eric, you don't have to with us if you need to go, but I was going to say the 4 of us, why don't we kind of talk about what we might be thinking of right off the top of our heads?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
I'm in.
That way we can get an idea of what to put together for a 4-man rescue team.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I've got a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good for a few.
I'm going to dinner in a little bit, but
So what's everybody's first thoughts?
I definitely want to mess with magic.
So you're going to go magic?
Yeah, I might go straight up wizard, like guy in robes with a pointy hat, or I might do mix of magic and military. I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I'll go to Vanguard, and I've previously had a medic, so I'm looking to something different. So I've got nothing really in mind at this point. So I'm willing to listen to what you guys are doing. And
I'm looking at Renegades right now, but I've honestly not looked at a lot of the other stuff. So I can be fairly flexible, but I think I want something a little bit more violence and a little bit less cerebral based.
This team, is it going to need to be more stealthy, or is it going to need to be more in your face, big hit? We're punching in a big hole, grabbing our guys and getting the hell out.
Based on the sheer number of guns that they can put in the field and arrows, I'm not sure that going in all guns a-blazing is going to turn out well for us. But on the other hand, these are secondary characters. If they all get annihilated, we just make new ones.
Yeah, see, I was thinking about maybe doing a vehicle driver and specializing in an armored vehicle to insert the team.
Go Killdozer on them?
Pretty much. What was it they had in Renegades, the Bearcat or whatever?
The Coyote, I think it was.
Or the Coyote, yeah. The Coyote in Renegades, yeah.
We could all take drivers and then just drive over the town with tanks.
Just
Yo, Joe.
fucking requisition the Rolling Thunder and just go in with the Rolling Thunder and fucking decimate the town.
No missiles, but we don't need them. We've
I don't
got
know. They got flying terror drones. Can we take them?
yeah, exactly. They got flying
Yeah.
terror drones. We're gonna get
Can
annihilated.
we have a flying Rolling Thunder if they have flying terror drones? Can we have a flying Rolling Thunder?
Well,
Sprouts
I want a
wings and jet
Metroplex with a
engines.
rolling thunder for each foot.
Make that happen.
I'm thinking if we need to go in like hard hitting like that, going infantry and doing like some kind of tank driver or something like that, giving us like some heavy weapons, serious heavy weapons. Or the other one was maybe doing either infantry force recon or a commando sniper.
Stay away from the sniper.
Hey, this is a rescue team. Come on, a sniper on a rescue team?
I know.
It fits. I know. It's just because I'll wreck shit left and right.
Yeah.
But I am trying to rescue us. It's the only reason I'd bring out the sniper.
Charles, you were saying something?
Oh, say which part of the comic number 50 did we want to be? Did we want to be the team that, that goes in taking armor? Do we want to be the team that turns all the power off? Like which one do we want to be? Because that's like basically all the standard teams that we could be, or we could be one of each. Go in, shut the lights off, bring in the tank, blow everything up, and then get away. Like it's we're trying to assault a town basically with 5 people. So I'm not sure, with 4 people. So I'm not sure exactly.
I don't know if we can shut off the lights if it's powered by Energon.
Oh yeah, I guess we don't even see we haven't even seen the power place yet.
Yeah.
Nope. I think maybe a commando for myself.
Ooh, I could do a ranger predator.
Magic would help there. We could all be mages.
Nah, I want to do magic, not in a G.I. Joe game.
What just happened? What happened to my genre?
Crossovered.
If we are looking at, we're what do you call it? Visionaries.
Oh, cool.
Visionaries.
Should we be looking at something with a commando bent then? Like, so I think the wizard works well with that. I want to look at some of the other source books, which I haven't read yet, if I am indeed trying to do it. But if we are going in the quiet and the quiet exfiltration rather than the whole bunch of guns or the Legion of Tanks route, I can go with whichever one of those.
Ryan, which book is the urban specialist in? Do you know what I'm talking about? The urban, I think it might be for building like a Alley Viper type. It might be in Cobra Codex.
Oh yeah, the City Striker. That is
City Striker. Yes. That's it. Cobra Codex.
Yeah.
That's what I want to build. I want to build a City Striker. I want to build an urban environment specialist.
City Striker's Vanguard, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It's Vanguard?
Yeah.
And I haven't played a Vanguard, so that puts me in something different too.
I'll be a commando, so you need to narrow it down.
Okay, so we got a commando, we got a Vanguard. I don't know exactly what role I want. I might just take the Circle of Magic from My Little Pony and go full on wizard, or I could do some mixing and matching.
Like, I really need to pick up the My Little Pony book for this G.I. Joe game.
Listen, I mean, it's Emmy nominated now. It's a good one.
Did you write on that one?
Yeah, I wrote about 2/3 of it, and I designed the magic system.
Dude, I'm telling you, Ryan, this isn't to like boost your ego or anything. I can tell when you write on a book versus when you don't. It shows, and like the books that you haven't had a big influence on, you can tell.
Well, that's cool.
And the books that you write on have definitely a much more positive spin and view to them. Like, I definitely am like, I'm excited about the International Adventures book. I'm just disappointed it's been pushed back.
Yeah, it didn't get to the printer in time, or like the printer was delayed. It's done. There's no changes being made. It's all in the logistics side now.
Right. I knew that's where it was. It was just one of those things that it was at that point, and I figured that's what happened.
Yeah.
I just hadn't heard anything official from Renegade. I don't think they've mentioned.
Yeah, Renegade's quiet about its delays.
Yeah, and I figured it was a printer delay, that it got to the printer late, and that's what pushed it back.
Yeah, I think it was basically there was no way of making it for Gen Con, and so it was just like, all right, just scale back on all logistics and just get it done when it gets done. We don't want to rush the printing on something and then like get misprints or whatever.
Can't make a trade show.
Yeah, exactly. There's one date per year that you want to hit, and if you don't hit it, any other date is equally secondary.
Yeah. Well, at that point in time, might as well just save it and push it for your next quarter and get some next quarter sales off of it.
Yeah, unless they really needed it for that quarter sale.
Yeah, well, it depends.
That's That's part of the conversation I'm not in.
Exactly.
Money is good for businesses at like almost all times.
Yeah. Yeah, Renegade's not one of those companies that's so big that it needs to hit, certain profits for certain quarters. I think it's really just like, as long as the money keeps flowing in, they can keep putting stuff out.
Right.
Ooh, okay, there's way more here than I'm sorry, I have to get back to you because the only book that I have physical here is this one, and I have been waiting for the excuse to go out and buy the others, and so that excuse has now come.
Do they have them locally for you?
So they should have them at our Dragon, but sorry, they had them at our Dragon. Whether they still have them or not, I don't know.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that I can get them from somebody who can deliver them to me, within 2 weeks.
Well, if you want to just walk through any concept, like message me and I'll be able to direct you to which book you want to pick up next.
Cool. Well, yeah, there's a bunch written about this within the Facebook groups and things like that, so I might be able to get an idea of what the interesting concepts are.
Right.
But this is just, it is so wide. Like
Yes.
my access to this world has been so narrow in comparison to what all the other things that people have been talking about that I'm like, yeah, maybe I need to be a class from Voltron. I don't know.
Somebody told Jason, one of the developers at Renegade, that when the Field Guide to Action Adventure came out, it basically made every book a supplement for every other game.
It pretty much did.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yep.
I find that to be true. It inspired me to open up Magic for this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just remembered. So I've got the Dark Skies over Equestria, which is all the shape-shifting and camouflage spells. So based on what we're going, I have a feeling this is where I'm going to be taking most of my spells from.
I have a G.I. Joe game I'm getting ready to start tomorrow night. I'm going to GM. It's a World War II based game, but I've got like the occult kind of, feel coming in with Cobra and the Third Reich with Rita Repulsa and Crystal Ball. And I'm going to bring in kind of that magic-y vibe into it with some of that stuff.
Cool.
So it's going to be
Are you going full on Power Rangers or mostly just on the enemy side?
I'm only really bringing Rita in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just really bringing her in and kind of altering her story and stuff. It's an alternate, reality type thing. I was going to do one where I was going to do the mix of the Rangers, G.I. Joe, and Transformers during World War II, but it just got a little much, and I was like, nah, let's just stick to G.I. Joe. I could see doing a World War II game with all the others, though, too, like individually.
Yeah, that was supposed to be one of the reasons you would pick up Quartermasters, but I felt like that chapter just kind of became more of an advice thing. Like it didn't give a whole lot of
that honestly,
toys for the GM to play with.
Yeah, I think that honestly is where most of the people who picked up that book was disappointed, was in the lack of weapons and stats for World War II era stuff and for future game stuff, other than just improvise, because we were already doing that. And I think I think that's where that book fell short.
Well, there is a section that was written for like making strongholds and stuff, designing your own, but it was nothing. It wasn't a system. It was just a few bullet points. We were better off cutting it out and making sure it wasn't in the promotional material than setting expectations and totally failing on them.
Yeah, I think both of those, and honestly, I think on the battle stations that you did show, the art that you had in there, if you had put in schematics of those battle stations, that would have like just the layouts and stuff of them, the blueprints, I think that would have changed a lot of people's impression of that book. I honestly think that book hurt the G.I. Joe line more than it helped it, to be honest. A lot of people I heard, I honestly, out of the player base and out of the GMs and stuff, a lot of people did not like that book. They felt disappointed in it, and that's just honest feedback. To be,
no, that's fair.
Yeah,
I got real excited for a second when I saw Vampire the Masquerade, and I was like, oh, but no, it's not the same thing.
No, different system.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I will tell you, I'm straight up
Wait,
looking
does My
forward.
Little Pony have vampires?
It does not.
Oh. I'll keep looking.
I am straight up, though, looking forward to this International Adventures book.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I just want to be a ninja, damn it.
You can be a ninja, but Also, the October Guard kind of gave us an excuse to make a whole bunch of options that would fit in with gijoe too. So that chapter is probably the one people are least excited about, but it'll probably see the most play. Like it has the most characters that those options apply to.
Nice.
I think you're right. I think October Guard's going to be the sleeper chapter in all this. Like a lot of people are excited for Dreadnoks. Like I'm excited for him for
Good Lord,
having
what's
him in-
not in this book?
So it's international adventures. It's the main chapters are the Urashikage, the Dreadnoks, and the October Guard. And then there's also a chapter on the other international characters, plus like GM advice on the it's like breakdown by continent of like if you're doing adventures here, here's a whole bunch of stuff to know: environmental stuff, political stuff, things you can use. It's our most lore-heavy book so far. Maybe it compares to Cobra Codex, although no, I will take it back. It is our most lore-heavy book, and I think it's really strong because of it.
Good. We need something along those lines. Like the other thing I think that would be really, really, really popular is doing an Order of Battle series of books,
Right.
where you put in, the character stats, like for like that person as a threat in the game.
Yep.
And then also put put all their contact stuff in for them as a contact.
Yep.
And just do an Order of Battle, and you could do a whole series and do every freaking G.I. Joe and Cobra that was ever put out. And there's a whole series of books for you guys to just roll on.
Yeah, that would be good.
And those would I guarantee you, those would get snatched up. I know as a GM, I'd be on those books in a heartbeat.
Yeah, well, and the combination of threats and contacts would mean it's both for GMs and for players, which is nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we've sufficiently devolved into straight up fanboying,
Yeah.
everybody have their ideas, or at least their initial ideas.
We're going to go more stealthy, right?
Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
All right, so I think I am gonna do our kind of urban city kind of. I think I might base him a little bit off of Shockwave.
Cool.
I might make him like a SWAT team specialist or something along those lines. That's recruited in for the team.
Different Shockwave. Got it.
So he's going to turn into a giant purple pistol?
Yes.
I'm here for that, to be honest.
Yeah. That brings up a good point. This is the Energon universe. If you can come up with a halfway logical reason, there may be a spare Autobot thrown around that maybe would be able to get recruited. Maybe someone looking for a little payback against Classified, Use your imagination. I'm not saying no to anything, really, although some of the more wild concepts would definitely need some back and forth. But
I want to be a human mode master. Just cassettes pop out of my chest.
You can do that.
Yeah. Problem is,
I love the idea of like, what? They're going to kill Classified? No. I'm going to kill Classified. And then just Acid just comes in and starts wrecking shit.
Like a Megatron comes in and just fucking wrecks everything. He's like,
the guy that I pissed off comes in and like literally saves me so he could kill me himself.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And then he kills me, but worth it.
All right. There's no need to finalize tonight. It sounds like everyone's still milling about a couple of ideas. Just kind of let me know when you start the creation process, just so I can keep track of stuff and maybe design some encounters to foil all your cool stuff.
All right.
Okay, I would just like to point out, though, for the record, that My Little Pony's things being Once Upon a Time in Winnipeg is frickin' hilarious to all Canadians ever for the rest of time.
And you know what? So I did write that adventure, but I replaced the original author, and he's the one that decided it would take place in Winnipeg. So I had nothing to do with that.
That is brilliant, and hats off to that guy, sir. Well,
yeah, that is hilarious.
Winnipeg.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you asked me what my second book was going to be, I would not have thought it would be the My Little Pony one. It's definitely in there, but I think I'm probably going to go with the Cobra Codex.